They got it. I mean, like I said, he probably got 100 change, but you know, I don't think we'll hear a response from Gucci. Nah.
Do you want to hear one?
Nah,
me neither.
Yeah, I mean, if it is his, if it's not, keep it pushing.
Exactly.
It could be something fake for all we know. Like,
let it be water under the bridge. Let it be here today, going tomorrow, and keep it moving.
Yeah, definitely. But you're tuning into the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast with your brother Old God and SamAnt going in today, man. Episode 292. If you're enjoying the podcast today, hit that 5-star rating for us and leave a comment. Well, Martin Lawrence, SamAnt, did an interview with GQ, and he talked about his turbulent times with the Martin show. Now, we know he was about 5 seasons in that show, and it abruptly, they canceled the show. A lot of people didn't know what happened. So GQ interviewer asked Martin, he said, "You did the show for 5 seasons, right?" He put, "How come it ended?" Martin says, "Well, how can I say this? It was just time to end it. Let's just put it that way. It was just at that time, there was some things being said that," and then GQ goes to say, "You're talking about Tisha Campbell's lawsuit." Martin says, yeah. GQ guy goes on to say, "I saw that you guys have been spending time together recently." Martin says, "Yeah, because none of that was true. It was all bullshit." GQ says, "What was bullshit?" Martin says, "Just whoever's side it was bullshit." Now, GQ asks Martin, did him and Tisha talk? And Martin says, "We don't need to talk about something that just didn't happen. So I decided to walk away from the show. I just decided to end it. People said that I got canceled, but that wasn't the case. I decided just to leave the show." So Martin putting out there that her lawsuit was fake. Now, if you don't remember, I'll give you a little backstory. Tisha Campbell pretty much came out back then when the show was canceled and put a lawsuit against Martin, said that he pretty much was abusive and tried to pretty much sexually harass her. Martin now is coming out and saying it's not true, and he was able to move on. He also went on to say that he loves her now, and it seems like they patched up their relationship. But I thought it was interesting that Martin kind of took us back into time,
man,
to rehash this, because a lot of people definitely wanted to hear that, the conclusion to that.
Something we didn't know. Those are some unanswered questions, something you probably see on a documentary. I think you see on a documentary or something like that. We always heard Tisha's side of the story, never Martin's side of the story. And I remember vividly when this happened. This is my favorite show. I had the DVD sitting at the crib.
Yeah.
I love Martin. We all did. We all love Martin. I had my son watching Martin well after the show ended back in 1996. But we all remember, if we love Martin, those last couple of episodes that we didn't see Tisha Campbell on there. Martin had gained some weight. He was looking tired in the eyes. The show just wasn't sparking the way it was. And you can tell that if it wasn't coming to the end, it was just going to get canceled soon, because it just wasn't the same Martin. Because Gina wasn't there, and just because Martin didn't have that same pop. Because I think that if Martin would have just been the same old Martin, it would have been able to live. Even though Tisha Campbell was a huge staple in that show, huge. I think if Martin would have kept that same drive, it would have continued. Then he had some things, obviously, with the situation when he was running the sweatsuit in 150-degree weather, and a lot of personal things he had going on right after that he had to deal with. But something interesting, this kind of, when you were reading that, this came across my brain, because Tisha Campbell married to Dwayne Martin. I don't know if you know Dwayne Martin.
Yeah.
Above the rim.
Yeah.
White Men Can't Jump, things like that. They got married in 96. Right around the time all that nonsense started happening. Now, I don't know if you know the backstory with Tisha Campbell and Dwayne Martin, but they are now, I believe, split up. They're definitely split up, and he was being sued because he had some things going on with fraud and some things, and he might have been doing some jail time. It was some backhanded things going on back then,
right,
that came to light with Dwayne Martin. And maybe, like I said, don't quote me on this. I don't have any information or nothing, but I'm just kind of thinking, because we all know how fresh relationships are. Maybe somebody was in her ear. Maybe a bug was in her ear telling her to do this or react to this because of a certain hug she might have got at this, and had a battery in her back and jumped to some rash decisions. Because I believed Tisha Campbell back then, but listening to Martin's side of the equation, I would love to hear them two together and speak on it, because I have a tendency to believe Martin as well.
Yeah, and I could obviously, I could see it from both angles. I could see how maybe some things got carried. We always kind of thought like maybe they was dealing behind the scenes. We kind of didn't know. We thought it because they had such a great chemistry
was crazy
on camera, and even with him and Pam and whatnot.
Crazy.
But yeah, so it was just like he was banging one of them. That was like the thought, but nevertheless, I guess that wasn't the case. I just can't fathom, SamAnt, even though we can, make the references to say, this dude was kind of fraud and Martin's coming out and say that it wasn't real. I just can't fathom her, like, just having that much success they had in season 5 and just coming out of nowhere saying, look, I've been harassed and be lying about it. Like, it's so much. You got to put the things on the scales. Like, what do you think you're going to get out of this? Like, you get so much more, by keeping the show going, and the success of the show. So I'm thinking that it may have been something there for her to do that. I could see that side, and also could see the other side where maybe everything wasn't true. But I do believe where there's smoke, there's fire.
Let me say this. Let me ask you this. Hypothetically speaking, let's say there was a little bit of chemistry that kind of extended off camera, and Dwayne Martin came in and possibly seen something like that, knowing and feeling some kind of way, maybe, I don't want to say manipulated, because it's all in my opinion, and none of this is true. I don't want to say it's not true, but none of this is documented or anything like that. I'm not giving you any information. I'm just going off the top of my head. Put a bug in her ear and maybe put a situation that was more than it was, because I agree with you. I don't think that she would sit back and go, I have malice intent against Martin Lawrence. Mm-hmm. I'm going to end this show and sue him. I don't see her lying about things. I think that she felt whenever she put that out that it was serious enough for her to do it, and maybe changed her colors, changed her way, and realized that it was a little less deep than what it was back in 96. Now, who knows? Mm-hmm. But do you think maybe the new relationship kind of added to that, or you not following that at all?
I don't know. I think that's kind of, I can't put that on that. But in 1997, I'll just read what she pretty much accused him of. Tisha Campbell's lawsuit detailed that she experienced and reported obsessive physical and emotional abuse at the hands of Martin himself, including repeated and escalated sexual harassment, sexual battery, and violent threats. Now, Martin did deny all allegations. So my thing is, like, if you ain't want to be there, people have been replaced. If you want to just end the show, you want to move on, so I just don't know. Is it a possibility that Dwayne Martin could have been in her ear and saying something, and maybe he was a little bit jealous or something? I don't know, but I just don't see her going through with this lawsuit at the time, and it just being BS. But again, they put this behind them. They're cool now. And that, to me, could signal the fact that maybe she got to the point where it was kind of bygones be bygones, and she didn't really want to contribute to trying to tear and break a man down. You know what I mean? When people are younger, and she was younger back then, we make way different decisions that, and we think different than we thought, at the time. So that could be the situation. It's kind of hard to put your finger on it at this point, man.
So do you think Martin should take a little more accountability then? Do you agree with him completely denying all allegations outright and basically, without saying it, saying that her story isn't true, so she's lying?
Yeah, that's what he came out and pretty much saying she's lying. That's it. Yeah.
So, I mean, so now we got a line drawn in the sand a little bit, because I agree with everything you're saying, but like I said, I also have a tendency to believe Martin. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to answer my own question. Then I want to get your response on it. I think that he should take a little more accountability in his actions that escalated to this situation, ending the show and things like that. I think that Martin, if all Martin did was completely deny our allegations, and we're both sitting back assuming that maybe more happened, whether it been innocent, whether somebody was in her ear, whatever the case may be, we don't know, then I believe, based off of all that he needs to take a little more accountability for his actions.
And what do you mean by that? Admitting that he did it, you saying? Or?
No, not necessarily admitting that he did it, but maybe going toward the line that we had a great chemistry, we had a great relationship, and maybe at the time going through whatever she was going through, she may have taken some of the things I said a little bit out of context, a little bit out of bounds, but it was always love. And yeah, I was blindsided by what happened. All right, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. I mean,
but you saying I deny it, nah, she's lying. All right, so now there's a line drawn.
That's
he say, she say, whoa, I don't know who to believe, and damn.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to not believe either one of them. You know what I'm saying?
And we didn't get to hear the interview, but it just reading it, somebody saying this is bullshit, who knows?
Right.
And what spirit? He could have been going in there. He could have been heated, or he could have been just, chilled out. So, yeah, that's a good point that you make, though, about Martin. Maybe, he did. Maybe the chemistry was so good that, off the set and whatnot, maybe he thought he could continue that, and maybe
a slap on the butt or something as you walk.
Who knows? Maybe she made it.
But
he may have thought that it was all, you know, things happen with men and women all the time. But I do believe, though, that if somebody is violated in that type of way, that you should seek all remedies possible. Now, if it happened, go after the dude and whatnot. But right now, they're good. So I guess that's the main thing.
Let bygones be bygones. Don't bring up old wounds. And hopefully this interview doesn't bring up older wounds. Hopefully they're good and everything's cool.
Yeah, now you checking for Bad Boys 3 is due to come out, SamAnt. And we were